Hi guys, it's Patricia and welcome to Tester Tuesday. And this video is a little bit different than normal. We're going to cover the last place scent of the new to the catalog scents for the spring and summer Scentsy catalog, which is Aloe Vera Ivy. But at the end of that quick review, we are going to go into a question and answer period because I thought, well, one scent would make for a very short video. Let's see if anybody has any questions. I figured we'd get a few, but we actually got over 30, so I will try to make it as brief as possible. If you're interested in that portion, just skip ahead. And then at the very end of that portion, we will draw for the 6 scents for voting for next week's video. So let's talk about our scent for this week. It is Aloe Vera and Ivy. And I have a bar of this, so I used my bar instead of my testers. And this was a former scent of the month from August of 2020, and that's why you see a scent of the month sticker there. And on cold sniff, this is about a medium to a little bit higher than medium intensity, and it's in the fresh category. And the scent description is cool aloe vera entwined with climbing ivy and a splash of watery melon. So most people get watery melon. My daughter gets watery melon. I feel like I'm starting to pick up the watery melon when I warm it, but when I first got this bar, I couldn't really smell watery melon. It smelled like a rich green scent, rich in the sense, not like bakery rich in the sense that there's like special depth to the scent. And I feel like this is what an emerald would smell like. There's a little bit of a perfumey green tone. There's a little bit of soapiness, and I feel like I get some of the notes that Scentsy lists in the top, mid, and base notes. So what I'll do is I'll put a split screen right here and we'll discuss those. So the top notes are aloe vera, sparkling lemon, and tangelo peel. So I feel like aloe vera is a very lightly noted scent, but I definitely get citrus. It reminds me a little bit of the salted citrus note that you get in Inhale Exhale. The mid notes are jade flower, watery melon, and blue myrtle cactus. Most people get the watery melon. I feel like I'm starting to get that now, but I also get the jade flower, and I'm not sure what the myrtle cactus smells like. But the base notes are white petals, climbing ivy, and bamboo wood. So there is a perfuminess, a little bit of a floral tendency. I don't know about a woodsy tendency. I have written down, I get a clean perfumey green, slightly soapy-like scent, and a slightly sweet fruity type scent. So that's kind of it for me. When I first got this, I didn't really like it, but I've really come a long way with this scent. I actually kind of enjoy it now. So what I did was I took 1.5 cubes and put it here in my bedroom in my 25-watt ceramic winter stag warmer. Strength and throw is about 7.5, maybe even 8 out of 10. I left it going a little over 40 hours, and the reason is I would often think it was gone, and then one time I left and came back after the midway mark, and I could smell it again. And then it was the kind of scent that I would go nose blind to it if I was in the room, but if I left and came back, I could definitely smell it. So that's kind of what happened in my scent room again. I took normally I put 3 cubes there, but I just used 3.5 to kind of use up that half cube. Strength and throw was about 7.5 in his room, and I left it going a little over 50 hours because I left it going overnight to carry it into the next day. No sense changing your wax right before you're gonna go to bed, I don't think. So I think if you're someone that likes those green scents that have a special little twist, either a sweetness from a fruit or a little bit of a perfuminess from a floral, then you're probably gonna like this. Something like prickly pear and agave, you might like this, or sea salt and avocado, Inhale Exhale, even jade and jasmine without the cologne note, you might like this. This would be great in bathrooms, bedrooms, laundry rooms, somewhere you want the freshness of the greenery scent. It may be strong enough for an open concept, but I don't think I would put it there because I think I would definitely go nose blind to it very quickly, considering I went nose blind to it in a bedroom. I know my friend Desiree here on YouTube and on Instagram, she likes to mix this with a lot of different things. I think one of her favorite mixes, if I'm not mistaken, is aloe water and cucumber. And it's funny, one day I had Luna going in this room and I forgot to turn Luna off when I turned that on, and a Luna in a different warmer was very nice mixed with this. So just kind of a mistake that worked out well. Would I repurchase Aloe Vera and Ivy? I don't think I would. However, if I got in a whiff box or something like that, I would use it and I would be pleased. And that is Aloe Vera Ivy. Okay, so welcome to the question and answer portion of the video. You guys have questions. I'm going to attempt to give you some answers. So let's just start randomly. We're going to go to a YouTube question. The first one is coming from Kayla. She says, I hope this makes sense, but could you store the wax in one of the shipping boxes from Scentsy, or would it mess it up? I have so much wax, so thinking of storing fall and winter there, and then switching when seasons change. Kayla, you can definitely use the boxes that Scentsy sends you to store your wax if you find that convenient. I often suggest people keep their whiff boxes and store some of their bars in here. And if you have the older whiff boxes, they're even larger. I find if you store bars in an airtight container, sometimes the bars all start, I don't know if they pick up a smell of every bar in there, but basically I'll tell you, I had a bunch of bars stored in a fairly airtight box, and every time I opened the box, all I could smell was wild black cherry, and I was a little bit worried that the other bars that were not wild black cherry might start smelling like that. So I took them out of that box and I put them somewhere else. I actually put them in this bottom drawer here, somewhere where a little bit of air can get at it, but they are stored flat, they are stacked one on top of another, and it's not airtight, but it's fairly temperature consistent in this room. So the other thing is you want to make sure that you store your boxes in a consistent temperature. Don't put them in the cold basement and then in a hot area of your home near an attic or something like that. Try to pick a spot in your home that stays fairly cool and consistently cool throughout the seasons. So the next question is coming from Eileen, and she says, what is your Scentsy story or Scentsy journey? Okay, it's not that exciting, but I will tell you. So in the summer of 2017, we were selling our home. It was just a few minutes away from where we lived. My son is in a wheelchair. We needed to move to a home that was a little bit more wheelchair friendly. So we found this house that we live in now. And I was, meanwhile, over at the other house, once we moved in here, I was over at my other house, filling in nail holes, things like that, sanding the walls, touching up paint. And the house was starting to smell dusty from all my little mini repairs that I was doing. So I messaged my friend who came to my Zumba class, and I knew she was a Scentsy consultant. And I asked her if she had anything that I could just try so I could see how Scentsy works. And she said she had a Boro bag. And what a Boro bag was, she explained, was it has a warmer and a few scents for me to try and see what I think. So I did that. I put the warmer in the house. And I don't even know what the scents were. I don't even remember. But when I would have a showing, I would put just one of those little tiny samples. You know how small those are. And I would put just one of those in. And the warmer was in the kitchen just to give it a little bit fragrance. And our house over there sold very quick. So I don't know if it was the Scentsy or what, but that kind of got me thinking. And then shortly after that, I did my first purchase with my friend. I purchased 3 warmers and 3 bars. And they were all through the clearance. So the 3 warmers I purchased were Aspen Grove, Doodle Dot Element Warmer, and the Boho Chic. And the 3 waxes I purchased were Pear, Blossom and Cucumber, Pistachio Ice Cream, and Bamboo and Sugarcane, not knowing anything. So I used some of the wax and I really liked it. And then gradually I started buying some more. Didn't take long because in February of 2018, February 1st to be exact, that's when I decided to become a consultant. I knew I wanted to become a consultant in that month because it was transition month. And when it's transition month, you get the testers from the fall and winter because that catalog was still in effect for 1 month. It changed a little bit since then. Now our catalog starts February 1st, but back then it started March 1st. So I got fall and winter, and I got the new ones coming for spring and summer. So I was in my glory. So yeah, that's my Scentsy story. And just to elaborate, the reason I got into YouTube videos, I got into YouTube maybe mid to late March of 2018. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to kind of discuss Scentsy. I'm home a lot and I wanted to discuss it. I was excited. I still am. And I wanted to talk a little bit about performance and things that would help people. I wanted to try to give people as much information as they could get before deciding on what scents to purchase. And I thought, if I can help a few people, that will be good enough for me. So here we are, 3,000 plus subscribers later. So hopefully I've been helping a few people along the way. But it's just kind of interesting the way the journey goes. So that's kind of my story. Okay, so the next question is from Monique. And Monique says, I was wondering what happens with regard to scent collections in typical Scentsy year. How many collections are released and when? And when are the Bring Back My Bar collections released, etc.? Well, Monique, actually this year we have over 70 limited time offer collections that are being released from February to the end of the year. So that's a lot of collections. That would include things like buddies, special warmers, things like that, but it also includes a lot of wax collections. So coming up, we should probably see the Easter collection, then we'll see like Mother's Day, Father's Day, we'll see the summer collection. Sometimes we see the odd limited time only collection with regards to Disney. In the summer, in June, we will see the upcoming Bring Back My Bar set, and then the next Bring Back My Bar set will come in December if they stick to their plan. And we usually vote for those a few months before. So there's always Bring Back My Bar happenings going. But after the harvest collection, in the fall, then there's usually the holiday collection. We have bricks, we have scents of the season, and there's always miscellaneous collections thrown in there. So over 70 limited time only collections that are from February to December. That's a lot. Last year it was a little bit over 60. So just kind of goes to show there's a lot of newness that they put out every year. So the next question comes from Carla. And Carla says, my question is about Scentsy's cleaning products. I know you've used the counter clean, but have you also used the all-purpose cleaner yet? In cleaning strength, how do they compare to each other? I know you were able to get blood out of your couch using the counter clean. Do you think the all-purpose cleaner could manage that? Well, Carla, the way I express the differences between the counter clean and the all-purpose cleaner, obviously counter clean is more expensive, but I do find it's a little bit stronger for those hard, stubborn jobs. The time that my son's blood got on the sofa from a nosebleed, I did try the all-purpose cleaner first and it didn't really do a great job. And then I whipped out the counter clean and it cleaned it up no problem. So I kind of used the all-purpose cleaner as a general, more of a lighter base cleaner that you can use on all non-porous surfaces. You should spot check it if you're unsure, but it can be used on a lot of different surfaces. And the counter clean is very similar, but I find it's got a little bit more oomph to it. Both products are designed to leave a tiny bit of a film to prevent more dirt and things from adhering more easily. So in summary, I actually use both. I tend to use all-purpose cleaner more often for lighter things, and then if I'm kind of doing a little bit more of a thorough clean of whatever I'm cleaning, I tend to use the counter clean. Okay, so the next question comes from Taryn from YouTube. She says, my wax collection keeps growing and I'm always looking for ways to keep it all organized. I'd love to know how you store your wax bars. Do you stack them or hang them? Do you separate them by date, scent family, season? So many questions, and then she laughed. Collections can get very overwhelming very quickly, so I'd love to hear your storage organizational tips. Okay, so my closet's right here, and no, I'm not going to be showing you the closet, but I will tell you, I think there's 5 or 6 shelves in the closet. The top shelf, I have bricks. I have everything laying flat. So most of the bricks that are on the top shelf, I either haven't started them yet or they're out of season and I'm not going to be reaching for them. The shelf below that, I have my spring and summer Scentsy bars, and each row can go 9 high, and I do them alphabetical. And for spring summer, I have current and new mixed together. They're all alphabetized. So if I need something quick, I can just kind of grab and go. Now what I do is if I open a bar and start it, I actually will put it in the row ahead of all my full bars. So I can usually easily tell where the open bars are because there's a second row of bars just scattered throughout, and I've alphabetized those as well. So I can find my open bars very easily that way. I have them grouped according to their section. So first I have spring and summer. After that I have typical kids bars or Disney bars. The shelf below that, and actually at the end of that shelf I have a few open bricks because the closet has kind of like a little spot that's hard to get at, so I put things that I don't need very often. Then the next row I have Bring Back My Bars. So they don't all fit there. I have some overflow here in this bottom cabinet. The third shelf starts with fall and winter. I mix retired and current in there. Then I have fall, same thing, retired and current, all alphabetized. Then I have current annual scents from the catalog. So things that typically stay year round. Those are alphabetized. Then I have current bakery, then retired bakery. Then the next shelf is my Scentsy Club bars. So those are all stacked alphabetically. And what I've been trying to do is if I open a Scentsy Club bar, I try to finish it the same month. So I don't have a lot of open bars because I don't have space on that shelf. The bottom, the shelf under that is mostly like stuff I need for my business, like catalogs or flyers, things like that. And the bottom is where I keep the big Scentsy box and a couple other totes that I need. So I do have some overflow here I keep in my drawer, and I have a little area that I keep my melting basket and a few extra odds and ends in a little cabinet with a bunch of mini drawers. It's very convenient, but I keep it in the closet because I can come in my room if my husband's asleep, because he gets up in the middle of the night. If he's asleep, then I can go in the closet, turn on the light. He doesn't really seem bothered by that light versus if I turn on the main light here to get at this closet. So that's how I do it. And I also store a lot of my current bricks in there as well. So it's kind of all over the place, but I have it mentally organized. The next question we have is from Sarah on Instagram. She wants to know my favorites from the new catalog or my top 6. Well, I'm going to leave my 2 new ones to the end, but 4 of the ones from my top 6 would be Strawberry Rose, Be Fabulous, My Hero, and Watermelon Tangerine. I love that all of those have come back. And I really like Vanilla Waves, and I really, really like Magnolia Linen. So those would be my top 6 from the catalog spring and summer, especially considering new to the catalog scents. All right, Elizabeth would like to know if I could discuss summer bring back my bars, ones that are strong and ones that are long. What I will do in my first sniffs video for you, Elizabeth, is make sure I mention if I know if they're strong or long lasting. I think that's the best way to cover that. I'll make sure I mention it in my bring back my bar first sniffs. Renee would like to know if I could only pick one scent, what would it be? Well, my favorite scent is Pacific Sandalwood, but if I could only pick one scent, I think I would probably pick Simply Vanilla, because I love vanilla, and that one does very well for me in all areas of my home, including my open concept. I can smell it there. It's not a boomer, but I can still smell it. So that's a little bit more versatile, and I can use it in more areas. So that, for me, and I've never gotten tired of that one, so Simply Vanilla. Okay, so the next question comes from Amy's Scents and Songs. Amy has her own channel here, so I encourage you to go check that out. She basically wants to know my experience on being a Scentsy consultant. How much time do you spend answering questions, taking, delivering orders, preparing samples, and so on? Has it evolved over your 3 years? It's definitely evolved. When I first started, I didn't really have any customers but myself, and slowly I have been fortunate enough to have a lot of local customers purchase through me. But over time, I think I started my YouTube channel in March of 2018, and I think in July of 2018 I got my first online order from someone in the US, and I was shocked. I was so excited. Now most of my customers are probably online compared to local, but I love them all. Most of my time with Scentsy is actually devoted to my channel, because that's the way I get my information out to my customers, or to people that potentially may be my customers, or to consultants that may eventually be on my team, or just in general to people that want to know answers. That's why I'm here. My goal is to help people make informed purchasing decisions, or to help people along their journey. The great thing about Scentsy is you can customize it to be what you want it to be. So that's what I like the most. If you work full time and you can only put half an hour in a day or 5 minutes a day, that's fine. Just expect to get out of it what you put into it. So if you just work it a little bit, you're probably just gonna get a little bit of benefit. If you really push hard, you can really excel and make great things happen. So it doesn't have to be a certain way for everybody. I tend to make small batch samples more often. Some people make them in huge batches. There's different ways. You don't have to follow a cookie cutter pattern of what you want to do. You can use other people's experience and guidance to help guide yourself, but there's no rules, which is really nice. There's rules you have to adhere to be a consultant. They're called compliance rules, but other than that, you can run it the way you want to run it. So for myself, that means fitting it into my life of being a wife, a mother of 3 kids, and having a job where I work about 20-ish hours to 25 hours a week. So I also teach Zumba part-time, but actually in saying that, I'm actually decided to give up my Zumba because Scentsy is kind of becoming a little bit more popular and taking up more of my time. So I hope that answers your question. The long and short of it is you put into it what you want to get out of it. There's no rules. It's whatever you make of it. Okay, so the next question we have is from YouTube. Sensational Fun with Angie wants to know, what fragrance is your biggest regret and what do you wish you had added to your Scentsy club but didn't? So my biggest regret would probably be putting Candy Cane Wishes in my club and then assuming it was going to come back the next year and taking it out because I really like that scent. And I do have it a little bit in back stash, but I just wish I wouldn't have made the assumption that it was popular enough that it would come back because it hasn't come back. My one that I wish I put in my club that didn't, I really love Blizzard Berry and I didn't put that in my club because I kind of, maybe I didn't realize I loved it until it was kind of too late. But yeah, there's no huge regrets though. The great thing about Scentsy is if the scent is popular enough, it will usually come back. The ones I would tell you to make sure you put in your club are the ones that you've kind of heard through the grapevine that other people don't really like very much. Those are the ones you want to put in your club, and those are the ones you want to keep in your club because the chances of them coming back and being voted back are not very high. Okay, so the next question comes from Alexandra, and she has a lot of questions, so I'll try to do each one. Basically, the very first thing she wants to know is how I would describe my scent preferences right now. So I'll do that one first. I would say my scent preferences, I like creamy, vanilla-based scents that invoke a cozy feeling, and I'm okay with a little bit of spice alongside, but I really like creamy, even like the cashmere. I don't like a lot of musk, but like obviously scents like Pacific Sandalwood, Simply Vanilla, those are my favorites. The second part of her question, she said, I would love to hear collection ideas that you would love to see come out. You've mentioned wanting to see a carnival collection that could hit so many great scents. So yes, I would like to see, and I don't know if it's stealing per se, but Bath & Body Works often puts out certain collections that really excel. And some of those I think are like I don't even know the name, but a lot of them have food-based scents, like donut shop or, you know, a bakery type line that's not solely driven by a lot of cookies, but incorporates different kind of bakeries, like a bakery shop collection. A carnival collection, you could do a lot of bakery and you could do the smells of the, you know, the sweet sticky smells. But I think that they're doing a pretty good job each time because there's only so many collections you can do. And then she also wanted to know if I could show the catalog of when I first became a consultant, if I could skim through or point out a few memorable scents or warmers. So I keep all my catalogs. So this one is a little bit beat up. This is my first one, the fall winter of 2017. The charitable cause warmer was the Built with Love. But one thing I want to show you is this warmer here. This is the warmer that I kind of want, but in a different form. So I believe the UK has it for sure, or region 2, but this one here, right here, which is called Champagne. There's one called the Obsidian warmer in region 2. It looks just like this, but it's almost like a gray, pewtery gray. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. That's the one I want to see Scentsy come out with. But some of the scents that I really like from this catalog, a lot of them we're fortunate enough to have voted back and bring back by bar. We still have them. But yeah, this is the way the catalog looked back then. There was these little dots. We had the Corner Cafe and the Darling Dashing. So I really would love to see Whipped Vanilla Pear come back just because I know that smelled awesome at my mom's house and I want to kind of re-experience at my house. But yeah, that's kind of my first catalog. The next question we have is from Leslie, also from YouTube. She says, I have a huge stash of wax and always worry that it spoils before I get to using bars. How long would you estimate bars last when stored? What is your storage ideas for bars and bricks? You always want to store your bars flat. Do not hang them on a hook because if they do sweat, the oils can run out and make a mess. So store them flat in a consistently temperature and humid controlled environment as best you can. I always stack my bars. I always like to, like I said, put them somewhere where a little bit of air can get at them so it's not totally airtight. But yeah, the main thing is cool, dry, dark place. Don't store them in the freezer or the fridge. It's not recommended. One other thing I would say is for how long scents last. Scentsy says for optimal performance, you should use the bar within a year, but I find scents last much longer than that. With the exception, if there's a lot of citrus in the scent, then I would try to use that up a lot faster than any of your other bars, because in my experience from Tester Tuesday, the testers that usually go off smelling are the ones that have a lot of citrus. Those kind of scents seem to just go a little bit funky. So definitely use up your citrus bars faster than normal. So the next question we have is from Casey, and she also has a YouTube channel here. Casey wants to know what my least favorite Scentsy scent of all time is. I think of the ones I've tried, I would say tomato vine. That is my least favorite. The one that may beat that is one I haven't tried is Chillin' and Grillin'. It's in my closet in the bottom, kind of way tucked in the back. I haven't even tried it, but I definitely would say tomato vine. So the next question is from Desiree, and Desiree would like to know, at the end of this spring summer tester segment, can you rate all the scents in order of least to greatest, or maybe top 10? So I kind of did that, and some of it's on scent appeal or performance, but here's my list. Not including the scents of the month that returned. I would say in the first place, the one I like the best is Magnolia Linen. It's strong and long lasting. Number 2 is Vanilla Waves. Number 3, Tangerine Creamsicle, just because it's a little bit lighter and they tend to wear off faster, those citrus-based scents. Number 4, Coral Waters. Number 5, Make a Splash. Pretty strong, that one. Number 6, Oh Snapdragon. That one's just an average generic scent, but it seemed to do okay. Number 7, Mad for Melon. It was medium to medium light, but it did last a fair amount of time, and it's okay as long as you like a little bit of floral. Number 8 is Coastal Sunset. That was about a medium intensity, and I think it lasted about an average to long amount of time. It's okay, it's just very coconut heavy, my husband's favorite though. Number 9, Sun-Soaked Petals. That was very strong on the current for me, and that's probably the reason I didn't like it, but it did last a very long time. And in last place for me was Sand Swept. It was very light and not really strong on scent appeal for me personally. So that's my story. I didn't really talk about Oh Boy or Mini, but Oh Boy I probably would repurchase, and Mini I might just to try out because I didn't get great results. But I tend not to buy a lot of Disney scents because I just don't. I don't usually want to spend extra money for them. Sometimes I find them lighter in general. I usually will just get whatever I need from the regular catalog. The next question is from Teresa T for 2. She also has a channel here on YouTube. She wants to know, what is your number 1 top favorite Scentsy scent? So that is Pacific Sandalwood. It came out with the International Wax Collection and I fell in love, and it went to the top of my list very quickly. Maybe the only downside would be some people don't have good performance with it. I have pretty good performance with it, so I'm pleased, but definitely Pacific Sandalwood. Okay, so the next question comes from Marlene from PEI, one of my favorite customers. She asks me if I could mention some waxes that will complement an oil. She says, I can only use my diffuser at night, so I fall asleep to my favorite oils, but I have always wanted to mix my oils with waxes and or other oils. So basically, what you could do is, we have a whole bin of wax. I'll just draw one out randomly, and we'll use that. So here we have Go Wildflowers. Now, I've never warmed Go Wildflowers, but I can smell it and kind of see. Doesn't really smell strong. Kind of smells fruity and floral at the same time. So you can go by the smell. You can look it up and see what the scent notes are. That's probably a good way to do it. So we'll just type in Go Wildflowers, Scentsy Go Wildflowers. Here's the description. This innocent arrangement of wildflower blooms, sweet honeysuckle, and ripe juicy berries will whisk you away to the end of the rainbow. So basically we have like general wildflowers, we have honeysuckle, and we have juicy berries. So what I would do is if I was going to pair an oil with that, I would probably pick either a floral to pair with it or a berry scent to pair with it. And that's kind of a good overall way to approach things. So watermelon and red berries, red currant raspberry would probably go with this. Or if you had a nice sweet floral, that would go with this. So that's kind of the way I approach things. And if you had say a watermelon and red berries, you could actually take a floral and add a couple drops to get something close to this. What you're going to find is the wax is going to be the predominant scent in the room, and the diffused oil will be a supplement or a layering scent in the room, and usually just there to kind of complement or pair with the wax that you're warming, because usually the wax is the strongest of the two. So I hope that helps. And the great thing about it is when you're putting the water in your diffuser, just put a very little amount of water and way less drops that you would normally use. And that way, if you don't like the combination, it won't have to diffuse through a whole session, or you won't have to dump it out. So that's how I would approach that. So from YouTube, Michelle asked, how long will the wax keep? And what is the best way to store them in plastic bins with tops or cardboard boxes? Thank you so much. Well, we did already talk about storage of wax, but what I would say is, remember, if you want, you can put a little sticker on each clamshell. You could buy the little stickers at the dollar store. You could put it at the bottom of your clamshell or on the back, or you could write it up here in very small Sharpie, the date, and then you could use your wax bars up in that in order of date. There's some bars you can actually see a pour date that runs along this area, and it's very hard to see, and I don't see anything on this one. It's not on all of them, and sometimes it's so hard to see that I wouldn't use that as a reliable method for using up older bars first. But in general, Scentsy advises you to use up your bars within a year, but I find they usually last many years if stored in a nice, consistent environment. So the next question is from Victoria. Victoria wants to know, she has a question regarding licensed or Disney bars. Has Scentsy ever brought these scents back or included them in Bring Back My Bar voting? I don't think they'll ever include them in Bring Back My Bar voting because they have a different price point, so it would get a little bit complicated, and there's probably licensing rules that you can't group the licensed bars in with non-licensed bars as a collection. But they do bring them back sometimes in the catalog. For instance, I think, well, we saw Cinderella come back. Sometimes we saw Stitch come back when they re-released the Buddy. So sometimes they do come back. I think it would just be a little bit of time would elapse, and then they would bring back some popular ones. So Corrine wants to know, what scent surprised you the most? Example, you hated it on cold, but you loved it on warm. So an example of a bar that I really didn't like on cold, but I really liked on warm would be Be My Honey. Because I remember it really smells gross on cold, but when you warm it, it's really nice and pleasant, and I really liked it. Now on the flip side, a bar that I really liked on cold, but when I warmed it, my opinion changed. The one that I can think of off the top of my head was Blood Orange Spice. I liked it a lot just from the tester. I warmed it. I was like, no. And then the more I warmed it, the more I disliked it. Now, when I smell the tester, that's all I can smell is the dislike for Blood Orange Spice. So the next question we have is from Marie, and she wants to know if I could do more in-depth reviews on other stuff, especially when new fragrances were coming out. And she gave the example of fragrance flowers and washer whiffs. So before we get into the fragrance flowers, I will tell you that I do have a laundry video that I have put out where I discuss all the different scents that I've tried. So that might be a good resource for you to check in. It's at the latter part of that video, and I'll try to link it down in the comments below. But the thing about the fragrance flowers is it's hard for me to get reviews out because I think I've only used maybe 4 different ones because they tend to last a very long time, and I only have one area in my home that I use those. So chances are you and I are both experimenting with them at the same time. But so far, of the ones that I've used, I would say the strongest was sea salt and avocado, and then I would say maybe apple and cinnamon sticks. And that wasn't as strong as I was expecting, but you definitely could smell it. So Josie wants to know if I've tried Palm Beach Breeze washer whiffs and Windowsill Breeze. What are my thoughts? Are they strong smelling? So the Palm Beach Breeze is new to the catalog. I did try it in the laundry liquid and the whiffs last year. I remember it was probably like a medium to a medium light, but I think with the dryer discs it might help it along. So I'm definitely going to be ordering a full kit and trying that out. Windowsill Breeze was fairly strong without having dryer discs. So now that I think the dryer discs are available, I think it's going to be a pretty strong performing scent as a unit. So Cassie wants to know, my question is, do older retired scents, bring back my bars or otherwise, ever make their way back into the current catalogs? I'm relatively new to Scentsy, but I watch lots of YouTube videos and yet to see that happen. And then she added that she may have just answered her own question because she saw that Satin Sheets came back. But basically, there have been some scents that I've noticed that have come back. They've been in the catalog and then they've retired and then they brought back and bring back my bar and then back in the catalog and then back retired. One of those would be Ocean. I've seen it happen with Sugar, Shimmer, Pink Haze. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But there's other ones that come back maybe after a season of retirement. But those are the ones that sometimes have come back in other forms and then due to popularity have returned. So it does happen, just not very often. So the next question we have says, you mentioned once that lavender and white balsam is having company over friendly. Can you suggest maybe your top 5 for this? Thank you in advance. So one thing you want to do with company friendly scents is, first off, you want to pick a light scent because the last thing you want to do is blast your company out if they don't like the scent. So lighter is better when company is coming over. Second thing I would say is make sure the bar that you pick is not a controversial bar. What do I mean by that? Well, there's certain scents that are controversial. Some people either love them or hate them. For example, Buzzworthy, Inhale, Exhale, Jade and Jasmine. Certain bars that some people love, some people dislike. You want to pick bars that generally have a good reputation because those are pretty much safe bets. You're not going to have a home run every time, but it's going to help. The other thing you want to do is pick bars that are top sellers because they're usually top sellers for a reason because most people like them. So I kind of broke it down. I said for a spring scent, maybe black raspberry vanilla. That might be strong for some, but if you're going to warm it in a big area, then it should be fine. Or maybe just use slightly less wax than you would just to be safe. For a summer scent, I think My Only Sunshine would be a great choice. That's retired, but we do see that one come back and bring back my bar sometimes. For fall, I would suggest Cider Mill. And again, you might want to use slightly less amount of wax just in case the person finds it strong, but it's a very lightly spiced scent. So not very much spice, and it's very universally appealing. Most people like it. Not everybody, but most people quite enjoy that one. It gets a lot of compliments. For a winter scent, I did say lavender and white balsam. I have heard that some people find the balsam note really strong, but in my opinion, in my big open layout, it just kind of aerates through and it becomes a very gentle, pleasant, clean type scent. So that's what I would go with in the winter. And for a masculine type scent, because I thought, well, that kind of deserves its own category. Maybe something like Cozy Cabin. Because Cozy Cabin, when you put it in your house, it just kind of smells like a very pleasant background, gently masculine scent. But it also kind of just smells like your house naturally smells that good. So that's a really good choice. In general, scents that you could pick all season, if you wanted a bakery, I would go with Sugar Cookie because it's gentle and it's mild. And most people would probably be okay with just a kiss of that Sugar Cookie fragrance. So yeah, that's what I would go with. Hopefully that was helpful in some way. And it might give you some ideas of how to approach that kind of problem. So the next question we have is from Abby. And Abby had a couple funny questions. One of them was, she says, have you always enjoyed scents? And then her second question was, and did you always have a gift of describing them? Well, thank you, but I don't think I have a gift of describing scents. Sometimes I think the way my brain works might be a little bit strange, but if it helps you guys make connections, then that's worth it for me. I just do my best to kind of relay what the scent smells like to me. And obviously it may smell different to you, but hopefully I kind of get the point across. Now it says, did I always enjoy scents? I remember having a big collection of Yankee Candle tarts, probably back in the late 80s, early 90s, and into the early 2000s, because I would love the smell, but I just didn't seem to warm them very much. Sometimes I would go and re-smell them. And that was back when Yankee tarts kind of had more fragrance than they do now. So I think I always kind of liked them, but I just didn't use them a lot, if that makes any sense. So we're getting close to the end. Amy wants to know, which current warmers do you recommend if we want to help with getting strength out of our scents? She said, long is not necessary. I like to be hit in the face with my scents, even if it means they won't last long. So for strong performance, I would suggest going with a 25-watt ceramic warmer. Do not use glass warmers for strength. Most of them do not get quite hot enough. There's a few exceptions. You could use also a 40-watt Edison bulb warmer. That usually gets pretty close, if not slightly above, a 25-watt ceramic. So either a 25-watt ceramic warmer or a 40-watt Edison warmer. Now, one thing I would say is if you cannot tell what a ceramic warmer is, there's a few little tips. If you see vent holes or little light aerated holes in the back of the warmer, that's a ceramic warmer. It's not glass. If you're ever unsure, that's what your consultant is there for. Message your consultant and ask them, and they will be able to answer it almost instantly for you. So hope that helps. Stick to 25-watt ceramics and always try to make sure you have enough warmers for your space. All right, so as I filmed this video, 52 seconds ago, another question came in. Sorry about that. Megan wants to know, she says, it's great that you do the strong and long videos. They help me know which scents to avoid. We are a family who loves scent but can't tolerate strong ones. And on top of that, our space is small. Do you have a running list of the lighter scents as well? You know what? I do not have a running list of the lighter scents, but I am going to start doing that. So one thing I would suggest is if you're a Scentsy addict and you like lighter scents or you like stronger scents or long lasting, whatever, to make sure you watch as many Scentsy YouTube videos as possible, because then you're going to get an overall feel for the scent. Because for one thing, if something does well for me, it may not do well for my neighbor. It may be a little bit different to my nose, to their nose. It may be different in each person's individual home, or how many warmers they have, what type of warmers, whatever. But if you watch a bunch of videos, you're going to get an average general feel for the scent, and then you can tell if something's going to be strong or light. Now, one good thing is you can usually take a strong scent and make it lighter by using less wax, using a lighter warmer, or diluting it with a gentle wax. But I will definitely start keeping a list of light scents, and I will try to mention that somewhere along the way for you, Megan. I will get working on that, but always encourage you to watch my empties video because I usually do mention if a scent is strong, medium, or light. Okay, and to wrap things up, we have a few questions from Instagram. So I'm just going to switch over to Instagram and bring up my posts. So the very first question came from Johanna, and she was the very first question that came from everybody. I can't think of a question, she says, but I would love to see a video of your stash or maybe a partial stash. And somebody else also asked the same thing, Holly, and somebody else as well. I don't know, Kinlockless. Basically, I'm probably never going to show my stash because I'm embarrassed that I have that much wax. And there may be some people in my regular life, non-Scentsy addict life, that might see this video and think I have a problem, which I kind of do, but that's okay. It's something I like to keep private, but I guess that's just the mystery of my wax stash. It'll just keep going strong, I guess. The next question is from Magali. She says, if I could discuss some medium to high performing scents. So again, I would direct you to any of my strong and long videos because I usually discuss the strongest scents from the spring summer in my spring summer video, and there's also a fall winter, and then I'll repeat. So that video will be coming out for spring summer. I'm going to aim for May if I can before the Bring Back My Bars come. But okay, Holly wants to know if she could see a picture of my stash, which no, we already discussed. She also wanted to talk about if I could do a mixology video. And Holly, to be honest, I don't do a lot of mixing. I talk about mixing options because the way I'd approach mixing options is this. Okay, say you have a scent, just like we did with the oils, but say you had a scent that had 3 notes. It had a fruity note, a floral note, and a woodsy note. If you're wanting to disguise a certain scent, say you didn't like the fruitiness of it, then you could mix it with something that was floral or woodsy to bump up those notes. So, but if you really liked the woodsy component, then maybe mix in another woodsy fragrance in with that. So that's how I approach sometimes my mixing suggestions. The other thing is, if you're looking for mixing ideas, Google it. If you want to know what mixes well with coconut lemongrass, type in mixes with Scentsy's coconut lemongrass and you'll usually get a bunch of pictures. I usually just click images and you'll see a bunch of pictures come up, and it's a good way to figure out what you could mix with. Okay, the next one is from Beaches5182. She wants to know if I could do a strongest to lightest bar list. So the reason I probably will not do that, and no offense, is because everybody's perception is different. So what I might find strong, somebody else might find weak, and it would be really hard to differentiate and put things in order. But in general, like I said, watch as many YouTube videos as possible to kind of get an overall feel for how each scent does in that kind of hierarchy. All right, then we have Shabanab says, if I could discuss my favorite mixes or how to deal with a scent that you don't like. So I think we already covered that. So hopefully pick something. And sometimes another good tip I would have, if you want to mix something you don't like to change it, mix it with another scent you don't like at all. Because sometimes all of a sudden you're going to like the combo, and then you took two negatives and turned it into a positive. I'm very reluctant to take a scent I love and mix it with something I don't, because I don't want it to affect my thought of the scent I love. So that's a great tip. If you have a scent you don't like, mix it with another scent you don't like, using those tips I just talked about, and sometimes you'll come up with a combo that you may love. And again, remember to Google possible mixes or go on certain videos, like John Sparks always does usually a scent of the month mixology video. He's gotten a little bit away from that due to his health issues, but hopefully if he's starting to feel better, we'll see him come back with some of those videos. But yeah, there's always ideas on YouTube to get for mixing. Pudding MC wants to know if what scents I am hoarding. And she says she's not going to judge me, so that's good. Scents that have been voted back that you find amazing, and maybe your top scents for each catalog season. So maybe we'll just kind of pick the ones that I'm hoarding. I usually hoard the ones that are in my Scentsy Club. Or sometimes scents that I've removed from my Scentsy Club that I don't have freedom to warm freely because I don't have a constant supply of those scents. So for instance, I took out Beach Daisy and I took out Peppermint Dreams from my club because I had a lot of those bars building up. But now I'll probably be scared to warm them because then the stockpile will start to go down. It's a really dumb way, but it's just the way things are. She also says, are there certain scents that have not been voted back that you find amazing? To be honest, we've been really fortunate. A lot of great scents have been voted back lately, but one that I would really like to see back is, I think it's called Playa de Veradero, and it's a really beautiful scent. It has a picture of a lady on a beach with a flowing dress. Playa de Veradero, that was really, really nice. And sometimes I would like to see some more bakery options. I find that we don't get a lot of bakery options in the Bring Back My Bar. Leslie would like to know if she could see my stash. So you guys are very persistent, but no. Then she would also make a suggestion if I could do an updated warmer tour, which I probably could, but I haven't changed out a lot of the warmers, but I can keep that in mind. An updated club review, which will be coming up. I have an updated club haul that I will be doing in about a week. She also wants to know if I could do my top 20 scents of all time or my least favorite scents of all time and why, and a brick stash. So I will be doing my brick video mid-March, so that won't be the full stash because again, it's a collection video. I usually don't do those, but my least favorite and top favorite. I might eventually do that. It's just that my favorites are always changing. And I usually probably wouldn't do my least favorites because I tend not to want to do a negative video because my least favorites might be someone else's positive or most favorite scents, and I don't want to kind of make them feel bad and me feel like I'm bashing their favorite scent. I always feel like if I don't like something, I try to be gentle about it. Sometimes I forget and I'm a little bit in your face that I don't like it. But in general, whatever scent you don't like, there's always a few others that love it, and I just don't want to offend anybody. So Shelly wants to know, she says, I've only been subscribed for a few months, so I don't know your story. So I did cover that. But would I please consider discussing why you became a consultant and start a channel? So I did kind of discuss that a little bit. Basically, the channel kind of happened because I do stay at home a lot because of my son. So I was kind of bored and I was excited about Scentsy, so I thought, well, why not kill two birds with one stone and start a YouTube channel? And I'm really happy that I've started it. It's really an interesting journey. She did ask if would I like to make Scentsy become my full-time job, or is this my side hobby that you like to do in your free time? It's definitely my side hobby. It has grown, definitely has grown, but I do have a full-time job that keeps me busy, and I have my family life with my kids. Do I want to become a full-time consultant as my only job? Probably not, and nothing against the full-time consultants, but there's it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And also I want to keep it as fun as possible. And the more it becomes your full-time job, the more responsibilities, and you're responsible for more people, etc., etc. And the way I have it right now, I'm really enjoying it. It's still fun and pleasant, but still successful at the same time. So I'm pretty happy with the way things have been going. I don't think I would probably want to make it my full-time job. I think it's always good to diversify. Last one, I think that might be it. Hopefully I didn't miss any. So I know this was a really long video. I'm so sorry it's so long. I probably should have done it as a separate video. But anyway, let's move on to the Tester Tuesday drawing for the scents. So if you're new to my channel, this is a portion of the video where I'm going to draw 6 scents from this box. And you guys are going to vote for 2 different scents by early Wednesday morning down in the comment section below. If you cannot comment on YouTube videos, find my Instagram post. It's Patricia Gates, and put your 2 votes there. And we're back to the big box. So I'm going to kind of draw from different sections of the box because they all mean different things. So set number 1 is Mystery Man. Set number 2. Oh, I got 2 and 3. Set number 2 is Alpine Meadow. Set number 3 is Citrus Garden. And I do have a bar of this, that's why it's okay. It's just one little guy. Set number 4 will go down the bottom. Persian Lime and Sandalwood. Set number 5 Bubblegum Blast. And let's do another kind of old one. I had them kind of roughly grouped. Scent number 6. I'm gonna go way to the bottom. Oh, scent number 6, another green wax, Wild Watermelon. So let's review our voting options for the week. We have Mystery Man, a scent that's available right now in the Woods section of the catalog. It's available all year long. Alpine Meadow, a former scent of the month from August 2018. Citrus Garden, a former scent of the month, I'm going to guess June 2017, but I could be wrong on that because I wasn't a consultant back then. We have Persian Lime and Sandalwood. This was a scent that they had in body care that they made it into spring bricks. The spring of 2017, I believe. I think. I don't know. Bubblegum Blast. This is a former kid scent that was available when I first became a consultant and then retired. And scent number 6 is Wild Watermelon. Also a kid's fragrance, also retired, but sometimes comes back in the Bring Back My Bar. So thanks for spending the last many minutes with me. I hope you guys found the question and answer period helpful. Sorry if it was a little long. I look forward to your votes for the week. Please stay safe. I hope you have a great day in your neck of the woods. Don't forget to vote, and I'll see you guys in the next video.